And she has written something that she has never shared with him, about him, I believe. Here she is, Christina.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Frost, and I am J.P. Patch's granddaughter. When I was originally asked to speak here today, I was going to read a poem I wrote for his 80th birthday. But being JP's granddaughter, or more to the point, Chris Wheatus' granddaughter, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to tell a story to a captive audience. So I wrote a speech, and this is the story of the JP Patches saga through the eyes of JP's granddaughter. So here it is. I never watched the JP Patches show when it was on the air. I never ate breakfast in front of the TV every morning to see it. I don't have any memories of being on the show with my Bluebirds or Boy Scouts group. And I don't think I could tell you just how many crazy characters Bob Newman played on the show. But that's just because I wasn't born yet. I'm only 16, and I never got the opportunity to experience Patches Mania for myself. But I don't feel like I missed out on anything, because I've met so many Patches pals. You see, being JP's granddaughter, I can't tell you how many times I've heard the phrase from all his fans, "What was it like to grow up with JP?" People will always ask me this with eyes full of awe and intrigue, but the best response I could come up with for the longest time was, it was something having your grandfather wear more makeup than you. But I knew that wasn't the response they were hoping for. But I mean, honestly, how am I supposed to answer that? People forget that to me, he's not a children's idol or a Northwest icon. To me, he's my Gampy. So, growing up with him was life as usual for me. But I know for so many Patches pals, it would have been a dream come true. So now that I'm old enough to understand all that my Gampy has done in his career, I have a greater appreciation for the awe all the Patches pals view him with. No one in my generation gets it. He's not just a clown or a TV show character, but there's no way you could ever know that unless you experienced it for yourself, or have come to find it out another way, such as I have. And that's by meeting his fans. Every Patches pal I've met has a JP story, and let me tell you, I've heard a lot of them. The most common ones include one of three things. I watched you before school, I was on your show, or my favorite, you never saw me on the ICU2 TV. And Grandpa's response to this is always the same. Well, you know, I only saw the good kids. But then there are the others. I've heard a few that said the show made their day when they had nothing else to look forward to. I've heard some say that they were the outcast at school, and that was the only smile they got all day. And then I've heard the real heart-wrenchers. Some grew up in broken homes, and the only thing they could count on from day to day was that show. Some were abused or had lost a loved one, and that show helped them cope. And for some, dealing with deep depression, they said the show saved their life. Seeing that man smile on their TV every day saved their life. Now again, I know I never actually saw the show, but because I've heard these stories, I don't feel I need to. Because the ad-lib screenplays and slapstick humor wasn't really what the show was all about. Not for all those Patches pals anyway. The show was about the people it affected. I've seen the difference it made in so many people's lives. I see how every time people see him, they tear up and go back to a different time. Because really that show is indicative of a different time. A different Seattle, a different America, really a different world. So you can explain to your kids how it was in the good old days, but unless they see the look of nostalgia in people like all those Patches pals' eyes, they'll never truly get it. But now I get it. I finally get it. So maybe now I can answer that question decently. What was it like growing up with JP Patches? Well, it was eye-opening, because I've seen the effect a little comedy and consistency can have on a community and its members' lives. And maybe we can't bring back the good old days, but we can make these days good by following JP's rules. Eat all your food, mind your mommy and daddy, clean your room, and maybe this one isn't on the list, but I found it to be the most important. Never underestimate the power of a smile, especially when given by a lovable clown. Thank you.